Dread, horror, embarrassment were just a few of the emotions that were being felt that night. Yet, excitement, enthusiasm, joy were also being felt that night. The room was filled with students, dressed up in all sorts of different costumes. There were princes and princesses and butterfly costumes and Spider-Man and Batman and Superman. Any costume that you could possibly imagine. And all of these students were dressed in costumes that they loved, that they adored. But there was one girl. She hated her costume. She hated her character. She wanted to go home, and she had heard enough whispers about her ugly costume than she thought she could handle. And the only thing keeping her from leaving that storytelling competition was the fact that she knew that her tragic story was more impactful than the joyful ones that the other kids were presenting. Because she hadn't taken the easy way out, and she was not dressed as a pretty little princess. She didn't look like that, or that, or that. And trust me, she didn't look like that either. This girl was dressed as a poor old widow that had gotten all of her life savings stolen and was pleading to the king to get them back, for she was nothing without those savings. That was her story. That was the story that this girl was going to present. And then the time came for her to go up on stage. And as she walked up the stage, she could hear the whispers and the muffled voices behind her. Oh my God, she looks disgusting. That dress is honestly pathetic. What does she think she's doing, dressing up as an old grandmother? And this girl, she tried her best to ignore those comments. And she told herself, I've stretched myself this far, I've gone through so much pain and so much anguish to get into this character, I might as well just stretch myself a little bit more and just give my all on the stage. And sure enough, she gave her all on the stage. In fact, she stretched herself more than she could have ever imagined. Can you guess how far she got with that stretch? Any guesses? She lost her fears and gained her courage. And the name that resonated through the air when the winner was announced was none other than her name. And that's what she looked like. And she'd won the competition, and when she stood on the stage being handed that gleaming golden trophy, she realized that the trophy was not her real victory. Her real victory was the realization that if you do stretch yourself, you will move forward. And if she can, so can we all. Fast forward a little bit in time, the girl that you just saw on the screen is now 16 years old, studying in Raffles World Academy, and is presently giving you guys a TED Talk on stretching more and moving further. My point, if we want to achieve success, we need to stretch ourselves. It seemed impossible for that girl to even think about winning the competition. It seemed impossible for India to be the first country to land on the moon's south pole after failing miserably twice. All of those things seemed impossible, but we did them anyway, didn't we? Everything seems impossible at one point or the other, but you need to know that you can accomplish it no matter what. Limiting ourselves is our biggest unseen danger. But it also leads us to our greatest unseen gift. How many of you guys have seen a catapult? Have you seen one? You know how it works? Can anybody tell me how a catapult works? Yes, exactly. You stretch. Here you go. You stretch the string and the stone moves forward. You stretch, you move forward. And the more you stretch, the further forward you move. Now replace that stone with you, and then stretch. Do you see how far you can go if you just stretch yourself? The more you stretch, the further forward you move. Stretch more, move further. Stretch more, move further. And yes, we need to stretch ourselves to achieve success. We need to work hard to achieve success. But what happens when you actually do try to stretch yourself? How do you feel? You feel tension and discomfort, and you want to go back. Back where? Back here. Back to the comfort zone. And why do you feel all this tension and all of this discomfort? You feel it because you're stretching yourself beyond your limits. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. You're stretching yourself beyond the limits that you set for yourself, because you don't actually have any limits for success. And thinking that you do could be your biggest mistake. So once you let go of that mindset and you just stretch yourself, you move so much further. You now have the capacity to face challenges that once seemed impossible. Why? Because they were impossible when you were here. And what's this? The comfort zone. But now you've moved all the way over there. You've moved so much further. So embrace that stretch. Embrace the pain, the discomfort, and maybe even the tears. Because once you embrace all of it and you just stretch yourself, you will be so incredibly happy with how far you've gotten. There are people from more than 30 different nationalities sitting in this room, getting along perfectly. And there is one common element between all of us. What's that? We have all, at some point or the other, stretched ourselves to move forward to where we are today. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep stretching ourselves and let's keep moving further forward. Let's stretch a little bit more and move further. Ladies and gentlemen, stretch more, move further. Say it with me. Stretch more, move further. Stretch more, move further. I can't hear you. Stretch more, move further. Stretch more, move further. Thank you.